What's up, Degenerate Nation? Welcome to the Big Bets on Campus podcast. This is the Week 11 betting recap and Week 12 look ahead. I'm Stuckey, and with me, as always, is Colin Wilson. Look, I have to tell you, you would have been so proud of me. Took a video of it in a bar in Lexington, going wild. The only one in there, people staring at me for Whoop Big Suey at the very end to beat LSU. It was such a perfect marriage. You had the first half, LSU money line. I had Arkansas money line. What a win.
Yeah, I'd say you can't handicap a game better than that. The Arkansas has now lost 5 straight games at halftime and then managed these amazing comebacks, Mississippi State, LSU. And I mean, that's the reason I didn't want any part of the full game cap, because I thought this would go down to the wire. But amazing game. I'm glad Arkansas has the boot back. Sam Pittman is a little bit richer. He's going to try to get even more richer against Missouri, and we're going to get a nice sunny bowl down in Florida. And then you and I head to head in Nevada, San Diego State, everything we could want. I mean, if you
again, I forgot about that too.
Yeah, I mean, if you were one of the ones like with me that saw the play come in on the MACtion Network app on San Diego State money line when it was released, we got paid. If you got -1, you got paid. You got -2, you pushed. So sadly for the BBOC live show on Saturday, I lost by a hook. You got to win by a hook. But I mean, hell of a game. Great. I mean, that was a lot of fun. Sorry about the Nevada futures, but I mean, to me, that was a fantastic watch from a consumer perspective.
Yeah, I wish Cole Turner would have played. But by the way, so overall for my Week 11, it was another middling week for me. Look, last bowl season, I went 24-7. We were getting every bounce. That's coming, right? Like we lose Clemson on a kick return for a touchdown and a fumble at the 1. It's unfortunate. We lose Tulane again. Like that was just heartbreaking. What a swing that was. Miss a 25-yarder to win it and then lose in overtime by 7. I mean, just crush, just killer. So it's coming. The run is coming. We are right there. How was your week overall?
Yeah, I mean, on the app, I finished up pretty much even, like down 1 unit. Went 2 and 3 on our live BBOC live show with San Diego State being the killer. But I'll just go ahead.
Tulane was crushed us.
Yeah, and we might as well go ahead and say, best bet, worst bet, bet regret. I mean, my best bet by far, there were 3 of them that we talked about on the podcast. And to be real short, Ole Miss was my best bet on the show. Glad that
Good
came
call
through.
there.
Yeah, glad that came through for everybody. Ohio State team total over cashed in the second quarter. And at Oregon State, just steamrolled a Stanford team that's lifeless without Tanner McKee.
You said a best call, worst call, bet regret. Let's go through my card here. Best call. Sorry, I was against you here. Georgia State. Grayson McCall is worth that much to the spread. Thank you very much. The rumors, cute steam, didn't play. Georgia State outright. And the reason that was also my best call is because we have Georgia State win total over. So
definitely my worst call. Like Bryce Carpenter, so the whole narrative out there was, is Grayson McCall worth 10 points to the spread?
Yes.
I think we've proven that the drop to Bryce Carpenter is 20 points to the spread. So good call by you saying, yes, he's worth more than 10. And now I finally agree. I thought Carpenter being there for 4 years and Jamie Chadwell knowing him, they would have put up a better, performance.
I was so nervous that once that steam was coming in, I was like, you got to be kidding me. Grayson McCall's going to suit up here. But he didn't. But that was huge for our win total going outright. By the way, that Wyoming cover, have you ever seen anything more amazing?
I'll take the unit.
You deserve it.
State. That and Washington State.
Oh, yeah, the push. We got a push there. Did you have 14.5?
Yeah, I did.
You dirty dog. Another best call. This is look, I listened to you here. You pushed us on the Michigan Penn State first half under.
Yep.
That was not a sweat. And by the way, Michigan finally gets that win, that big win on the road that Harbaugh and Michigan fans have been waiting for. But if you go back into that game, what is James Franklin doing? he gets the fake punt, and then a fake field goal on the 2 after you've already done a fake punt. Come on, man. No need to get cute there. Either go for it or kick the field goal.
I think Franklin and Lane Kiffin went to a no field goal, fake field goal convention. I've never seen so many missed points for Lane Kiffin, it didn't matter. They had some pick sixes and stuff, but yeah, I mean, this whole fake field goal thing is it's like a endemic.
Yep. Let's see. Worst call, Iowa under. Never close. Awful call. But I mean, other losses, Clemson, Troy, even game. They just somehow didn't cover. Tennessee, man, this is every week. Tennessee first half. Oh my gosh.
I mean, they looked good the first. Tennessee had the great game plan the first 3 drives, and then Georgia adjusted and it was over.
Plus 11 and a half first half though was. Maryland plus 13. I mean, that was even game. Worst call, I guess, was I don't know. I didn't have any terrible call. I guess Washington State, but they pushed. But I'll say that's my worst call, and Iowa under for sure. Bet regret is not jumping on Notre Dame when the line was steaming. I couldn't get full confirmation until later in the day that Brennan Armstrong was out, but you could argue that Brennan Armstrong, that line didn't go up high enough. Brennan Armstrong to these 2 stars that are Virginia's backups, it's close to the drop-off of Grayson McCall to Carpenter. That's an enormous drop-off. This is a pro quarterback to 2-star. I'll be nice, just 2 stars. So not jumping on Notre Dame there was just no way that Virginia's defense is awful. So there's no way that they were going to keep up with Notre Dame. But there were rumors about Notre Dame flu. So without Brennan Armstrong, Virginia is nothing. So that was my bet. Regret is not jumping on Notre Dame once saw Armstrong was out. How about you? Best call, worst call, bet, regret?
Yeah. I already said best, a couple of best bets in there. Worst call was definitely Coastal. That was not even close. Assuming Bryce Carpenter, who's been there forever, could take over the offense and there wouldn't be that much of a drop, but it shows you how important Grayson McCall is. And we'll see how high he goes at the next level. Bet regret is 2 of them. And I came on here and made best bet on the podcast, Missouri, and the number was moving as we made that podcast. It went from a pick to 1 to 1.5. And even though I had like money myself on the game, I wanted to put in the best number and I never put it into the app. So Mizzou bet regret from an app perspective after making it the best bet on the podcast. And then Texas Tech, I said with, Sugar, the new, the young kid, the Donovan kid coming in at quarterback, they could win the game outright. They won the game outright as 10.5 point underdogs. And that never got into the app. So 2 bet regrets there.
62-yard field goal to win it for Texas Tech to crush any hope I had for my Iowa State Big 12 futures after Oklahoma laid an egg. And then Tulane can't make a 26-yarder with a kicker, a 6-year kicker. Great. To recap what happened in the top 20, we had a big shakeup. Oklahoma's dead, done. See ya. Big 12 is done. Big 12 is not getting Oklahoma State, do they have a chance if with Oklahoma losing though, it makes them that win's not going to be as impressive.
I mean, if you follow the laws of the college football playoff, a 1-loss conference champion would trump an undefeated G5. We've had that.
Well, Cincinnati's done. I don't see any way they can get in.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I don't think the Big 12 is done. It's just whoever wins Bedlam has got to win again the next week. That's it. You've got to win 2 in a row to make it to the national championship game. So,
but you think so? I just think this sets up for 2-loss Bama over the Big 12.
I can't see a 2-loss at large getting in over a Power 5 1-loss champion. I don't see it. And Michigan, you know what? I think Michigan would get that at large bid before anybody. So
yeah, if they don't go to they would have 2 losses though. If they lose to Ohio State, or they're
not if Michigan State beats Ohio State and Michigan beats Ohio State. Then you're looking at
yes, but that's not happening. Michigan State's not beating Ohio State. Michigan State's bad. Yeah. So, but I mean, you're going to have Oregon is still alive. If Oregon wins out, they're going. By the way, I think they're going to be underdogs next weekend against Utah, right?
Yeah, as of right now, we're recording on Sunday morning, so we don't know what the line is going to be, but I project it to be Utah -2.
That should be right in that neighborhood. When we know Georgia's in.
Oh yeah, no matter what.
And yeah, it'll be the ACC is dead. The Pac-12 could die next week if Utah beats Oregon.
Yep.
Right. The Big 12 could die. Man, I mean, it's going to be really interesting. This all is setting up. I'm telling you, it's all setting up for a 2-loss Alabama.
It's interesting if the committee, I would watch their rankings very closely this week. What if
Bedlam splits? The Big 12's done, right? They both have 2 losses.
Yeah, absolutely. Bedlam splits, they're done. So
Bama's going to get in with 3 losses. That's my prediction.
Bama's not going to get it with 3 losses.
They're going to lose to Auburn. They're going to lose in the SEC championship and get in.
Well, you're going to get about 50 to 1 odds whenever they get their 3rd loss. So you can take that, but I won't be on that. I think the committees, I think everybody should pay attention to the rankings this week because there's some important questions to ask. Where does Wake with 1 loss fall? Where does Oklahoma with 1 loss fall? Where does Oklahoma State fall? 1 loss fall? And then where does the Big Ten East, everybody with 1 loss fall? Because your pecking orders are really important as far as Cincinnati being undefeated. I'm not sure Cincinnati is going to slide like they did last year because they actually moved up last week. So they're going to have to start answering questions. Does a 1-loss Big 12 or ACC champ overcome Cincinnati? That's the big question.
But if you're a Cincinnati fan or futures holder, there's a path. Wake can lose. Utah beats Oregon. Big 12 Bedlam splits. All of a sudden, since you could get in by default, right?
Yeah, all of a sudden
that's the path.
All of a sudden you're in, and you would be the largest point spread in the history of college football playoff because I believe 17.5 is the largest spread we've ever had between Washington and Alabama. I believe Notre Dame had that against Alabama last year. So I don't think I've ever seen a spread over 18 points in the college football playoff. There was that Michigan State year against OU. That might have been higher. I'll have to check, but I mean, it's going to be a large spread.
I don't know. I'm curious to see if the committee moves up Cincinnati for beating Georgia by 5. Oh, wait, that was college basketball. All right. This is, by the way, Texas stuck with the Big 12. Sark, pole assassin. Texas loses to Kansas outright. So at the very end of the game, I mean, there's no one in the stadium. This is sad.
Yeah, they went for 2. You're going to have to start going for 2 anyways. Yeah, but give credit to Lance Leopold for pulling that off and throw to the fullback on the run. Holy cow.
Yes. Fullback, and it was his first offensive snap ever, walk on. And here's his parents. This is awesome. At the other end of the stadium, there was at the other end zone. So they're cheering because Kansas won, and then they realize it's their son who caught it on his first offensive snap.
Great moment.
So
Kansas finished. Yeah. Kansas finished with a 13, the lowest post-game win expectancy of any game, 13%.
Like Penn State against Maryland last week. By the way, there's 5 teams. Yeah, let's say. Yeah, there's not 5 teams that would have a less likelier chance of scoring in that situation than Wyoming, a team that is just incapable of throwing the ball down the field. But that kid in there is their only good receiver, and he's an explosive play, just a walking explosive play. He caught the ball, jukes in, he looks back, and I was at midfield. And then someone sent me it said me watching that kid run and trying to get him to the end zone. And it was the Kramer gif from Seinfeld watching the horse, and that was me. I was right near the TV. I was like, is this really happening? And then it was like, oh my God, it's going to get caught. And if he got caught at the 1, Wyoming was going to run up the field and get stuffed at the 1. I was like, please don't review this. Please don't. But he was in. And then all of a sudden, this is how sick we are. Sick as gamblers. I said, oh my God, we can't let them return the onside kick for a touchdown. Because I've been traumatized by Louisiana Tech doing that to me. But what an amazing cover that we did deserve, by the way. Yes. But what a roller coaster.
Yeah, Levi Williams to Isaiah Nair, gambling gods. They got to be thrown into the gambling Heisman Trophy conversation for that cover.
Welcome to potentially the SCP bad beats reel. But I don't know. It wasn't really a bad. I mean, it was a bad beat. But Wyoming was the right side. By the way, I hope you had fun betting Georgia against Kentucky, a basketball school, baby. We covered BBN. Couldn't get a stop.
Yeah, Tennessee.
Way to cover the game.
Tennessee.
And I would play Tennessee first half a million times over again.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, the numbers don't say that this was a complete blowout. I'm staring at it right now. I mean, 31% methodical drives. That's more than double the national average. They were way over the national average in 2+ first downs. They actually moved the ball on Georgia. That team total was at 17 and a half. They got there on the points. And when I look at this, 2 offensive turnovers killed them. Points per possession inside the 40 is where Tennessee fell apart. Only 2.1 compared to Georgia. They scored 5.1 points every time they cross the 40-yard line. But if you look at I'll just say this, I'm not going to get into it, but if you look into the splits, the standard downs and passing down splits, Tennessee was above national average against Georgia in this game. They did a really good job on offense. It's just, one score away, one turnover and a quick score by Georgia away from this actually being a cover.
Yeah, in the first half, I mean, Georgia scored a touchdown to cover the first half and with a long touchdown pass with 20 seconds to go. But yeah, we had a ton of fun at the bar when we faded Georgia with Kentucky. That was amazing. Here, I'll talk about it for you. E-ball, every man a Wildcat, baby. Yeah, they're covering machines right now, and that is a spectacular spot next week at home against Baylor.
Okay, well, West Virginia had 3 offensive turnovers, and Kansas State was stuffed on 44% of their runs, 39 times. They were stuffed 17 times. They they barely averaged more than overall yards per play than West Virginia. I can tell you, remembering from editing the power ratings last night, Kansas State didn't get a bump whatsoever. Not an impressive box score. Congrats on your cover, but not enough for me to move the needle.
So mean.
Sorry.
Yes, it wasn't that impressive a win, but next week, Email, baby. I mean, I can't even make up the Maryland losses anymore. Maryland's last 4 drives of the game just needed 1 score to cover. Last 4 drives of the game, turned it over on downs 3 times in Michigan State territory, and then missed a field goal. Didn't score in any of the drives. They didn't cover 2 touchdowns again in a game where the yardage was equal. The same thing as what happened with Penn State last week. It's amazing.
I don't care.
That was frustrating.
I don't care what the point spread is. I don't care how inflated it is. I don't care what advantages I see in the matrix. I'm not betting Maryland. I'm tired of forking over a unit every week on this team. Who do they play next week? They're going to be about 17-point dogs to Michigan at home. No doubt Jim's going to go route them.
Oh, man. Just kill me now. But unfortunately, yeah, I hate Clemson. Everyone knows I hate Clemson. I hate Dabo. I laid the points here. And the sad thing is it was the right side. Opening kick return for a touchdown for UConn. Clemson fumbles it on 1st and goal at the 1 going into the end zone. I think UConn finished with 30 yards, somewhere around there. They had, 40 plays for like 50 yards. One of the worst offensive performances in the history of college football. So what does that box score look like? It's ugly for UConn, right?
I've never seen anyone get stuffed on 90% of runs. 17 of 19 runs by Connecticut were stuffed. They did have 2 passes exceed 15 yards, but they had an overall yards per play of 1.7 for the entire game. Their passing down success rate, 19%. So this was one of their catches, they had a 25-yard catch where it was thrown to the Clemson defensive back just at midfield, clear pick, but it hit him in the chest, bounced up in the air, and then another UConn receiver wasn't intended to caught it. That was what that won't show up in the box score. That was one of their 20-yard completions. But one of the reasons you didn't cover 3 kickoff returns for 190 yards.
Yeah.
190 yards on kickoff returns.
Yeah, and they fumbled at the 1. And UConn recovered, I think, every fumble on sacks. I think they recovered 5 fumbles, all 5 fumbles in the game. Amazing. But yeah, that was frustrating. What are you going to do? I mean, the offense, I have to say the offense was awful.
Yeah.
I mean, DJ, you look at some of the metrics. He's been one of the worst quarterbacks in college football. He was 17 of 37 at one point against UConn. Ugly.
Yeah, 21 of 44, 47% completion rate, only a 30% success rate. Three different quarterbacks got some playing times. Clemson in passing downs. Now, remember, they're playing UConn. And 41 passing down attempts, they only met the national average in success rate, and they averaged 4.9 yards. That's pathetic. You want to know something else? Clemson had 42 rushing attempts, and they didn't have one rushing attempt that went over 20 yards.
All right, before we get to 3 and out and look at some of the games this upcoming weekend, next weekend, do have a quick reminder to check out our friends 3-Man Weave, Kai McEwen, Jim Root, Matt Cox, who are releasing bonus college basketball betting episodes every Wednesday morning here on the BBOC podcast. So if you're into betting college hoops, check out this week's episode. And we'll transition to basketball full-time in late December. Was just talking with our producer, looking like we're going to have 3 episodes a week in college basketball once college football winds down. Monday, Wednesday, Friday is what it looks like. So excited for that. And the reason we're able to do that is because of you guys and your support. And that's why we have our own channel, to release more college content across the board. Colin and Brett McMurphy do sources. Our group of 5 guys have been killing it. And I'm sure, Colin, maybe you're already preparing for this. You're going to have, I don't know if I'll be doing this with you. You're going to have some college baseball, college World Series content next year.
Yeah. Zerillo's going to join us for that. Zerillo's going to join us for a little college baseball. So some good, finally, something that we've always wanted. Can't say anything about the app about having scores in there, but you can expect by the time conference play starts, we'll have at least one podcast. We're definitely going to have a regionals betting podcast, super regionals, and of course, the College World Series.
You guys going to make it out of the first game this year?
Oh boy, here we go. We will be the number 1 team in the nation, and we will make Omaha. So don't fret. We'll be there.
By the way, Polish driver. It's finally taken me till week 10 to figure out whatever these degens say do the opposite of. Finally making money. What a relief. Love the pod. Love the comedy. You're not getting he gives 5-star though. You're not getting any gear though. Dalton Brown. The show consistently makes me some lunchbox money while giving me 2 hours of enjoyable and informative college football content every week. The voicemails are gold. The picks win more often than they don't. And you'll learn a lot if you're new to betting or not following college football closely. And every once in a while, you get to hear Colin's grandma. What more could you ask for? Reach out to me or our producer. We'll send you some gear. Whole weekend of college football packed into an hour podcast. They evaluate games the right way and are clear about what you should or shouldn't take a line. A great Friday morning listen. Oh, and the voicemails on Monday are elite. I agree. Yo, Lynette. You're getting some gear. So appreciate the reviews. Make sure they really help us out. So go on there, and every Monday I'll just read out your name and you'll get gear. But sorry, Polish driver, you're not getting anything. All right, before we get out of here, let's go 3 and out. All right, first down, let's talk some Tuesday MACtion. We have Toledo at Ohio. Toledo's offense, did it come alive yet last week, or was it just Bowling Green? Ohio has been a covering machine of late. The Bobs have figured it out. They looked really bad early on in the season. They obviously lost their coach unexpectedly late in the year, but it looks like they're starting to come around. We have Western Michigan at Eastern Michigan. Western Michigan barely escapes Akron. 2 6-4 teams there. And we have Bowling Green, 3-7 at Miami, Ohio. The most interesting part of that game, and by the way, we'll have write-ups on all these games on actionnetwork.com and the Action Network app. The most interesting part of this, Bowling Green, Miami, Ohio, and you have Kent State taking on Akron. Now, both teams, Miami, Ohio and Kent State, are 5-5. So they're playing for bowl eligibility, right? So that's, you would think that'd be some motivation. They're also playing these, the bottom feeders of the MAC. But no matter what happens in either of those games, next week's game in Kent State between Miami of Ohio and Kent State will decide the division. They're not going to run it up. You're going to stay healthy. They're going to be big favorites. Are they looking ahead to it? Kent State could lose to Akron, go to 5-6 on the year, and it wouldn't matter for the division. They could beat Miami of Ohio next week, and they would win the division. So interesting motivation angle there. But let's start with Tuesday. Toledo, Ohio, Western Michigan, Eastern Michigan, Bowling Green, Miami of Ohio. Anything stick out to you there on any of those games?
Well, we'll start off with Toledo and Ohio. Toledo should be 7-point favorites on the road. Lines have not been released yet as we record this in the morning. And I think the big handicap here is that Ohio loves to run the ball 60% of the time with DeMontre Tuggle and Curtis Rourke. And now Armani Rogers is getting a whole bunch of playing time. And so the strength of the team is being 11th in line yards, 24th in rushing success rate. But the problem is that is Toledo's strength, is defending the ground game. They're top 10 in defensive rushing success rate. They're 4th in PFF being graded against tackling. And so this is going to be a really tough matchup for Ohio because they like to go to the ground game. Big contrast in tackling. Like I said, Toledo's 4th. Ohio's defense 127th in tackling. They're 125th in havoc. They're terrible at defending the air. And most importantly, Toledo with Finn, they are number 1 in the nation in standard downs explosiveness. So this may be a spot where I'm looking to lay Toledo. There's definitely going to be a lot of Ohio love because they've been covering machines. Switching over to Western Michigan and Eastern Michigan, this is a game where I'm not really positive how you take an under here. Ben Bryant and the offense, it's a balanced offense, pass, run, about a 49% rate for the rush. So they do throw a lot, though. That's where they're most successful, top 25 in passing success rate. That's going to be really tough for a Western Michigan team that is 118th in coverage, graded by PFF, and they're outside the top 100 in allowing big plays. Eastern Michigan should get their points. And I think more importantly with this game, both teams have heavy offensive finishing drive advantages over the respective defenses that they're going up against. And let's not forget, Western Michigan is dead last, 130th in special teams, and this has to be in the handicap about taking. Yeah, I mean, I don't know you can take an under with Western Michigan again because the number of kickoffs and punts that get returned is insane. And Eastern Michigan's top 20 in special teams, so they're really a team that could take it to the house. Western Michigan's offense is going to be able to do whatever they want. They're mostly ground-based, 60% running the zone read. They're 14th in rushing success rate, and Eastern Michigan is almost dead last in defending the rush. So definitely an overplay there, a game that I project to be actually less than a field goal. So that's going to be your live betting game of the night on Tuesday. And then with Bowling Green and Miami of Ohio, this is, a game that the Redhawks have to have here. Not much that I could say about Bowling Green. They've kind of been floundering lately. We thought their defense had something. And when you look at the entire season, they're top 25 in defensive passing success rate. So there's definitely something there for Gabbert to work on. Miami of Ohio has been an extremely explosive offense, 15th in big play percentage. So you're going to have to look at, Bowling Green defending that. Bowling Green's terrible, bottom 10 against the rush, bottom 10 in line yards. So this is a spot where I think you just lay it with Miami of Ohio, although it is a look ahead spot, but they're 20th in defensive havoc and Bowling Green's near dead last in protection of the football. So Miami of Ohio is definitely going to be the look there. Moving on.
Yeah, they're still playing for bowl eligibility, and with Gabbert back, they've looked a lot better. And then this Bowling Green defense, maybe they tricked us. I think. I mean, oof. Yeah, look, they had some bizarre results where their defense dominated. Look at the Minnesota game, where Minnesota had like 150 total yards, and the loss is a 30-point favorite. So they looked great early in the year, but looks like they were not as good as I thought that they potentially were after some of those early season results. Moving on to second down. All right, for second down, we have 2 other MAC games on Wednesday. Kent State Akron's going to be on Saturday. We can talk about that game later in the week on our Week 12 episode. We have Northern Illinois at Buffalo. I'm assuming Northern Illinois will find a way to convert on 4th downs and steal the game late. And then we have Central Michigan at Ball State, which should be a good one. Central Michigan is now bowl eligible. Ball State is 5-5. Still fighting for that. Northern Illinois looks like they're going to win the division. I think they clinch if they beat Buffalo. What do you got in these 2 games? Anything?
Yeah, I'll start with Central Michigan and Ball State. Both teams top 25 in plays per minute. This is going to be super, super fast. Central Michigan is going to run that zone read. Ball State 128th in defensive passing success rate. So when Central Michigan does decide to take it to the air, you're going to feel the fact that they're ranked 21st in big play percentage. I expect tons of scoring to happen there. Switching over to the Ball State side for offense with Plitt, I mean, it's been hit or miss. The offense has been good at ball protection, top 25 in havoc allowed, which is what you need against Central Michigan since they're 23rd in defensive havoc. This game's going to be extremely fast. Both offenses are not the best, 47th and 63rd in finishing drives, but they have major advantages over the defenses, which are outside the top 90 and keeping points off of the board. Both teams have advantages on offenses here, and the speed is going to be top 25 in the nation. So I projected at 61. I think the total will come out there, but an over is the way to play. This is also a spread where I see Central Michigan minus 2.5 on the road. So again, this is a live trading game, similar to Western Michigan, Eastern Michigan. There's going to be a lot of points, and it's a live trading game.
Yeah,
and
could not bet it under there. Could not bet it under there any world.
And then with Northern, and with Northern Illinois and Buffalo, I'm not sure you can bet at Northern Illinois. You can't bet against Northern Illinois. They are the ultimate horseshoe up the ass team, and probably going to represent the division and have some key wins, all by small margins. Huge offensive advantages over Buffalo here. We talked about how Buffalo should not be laying points to teams on the road earlier a couple of weeks ago, and now they're going to be at home, and I project Buffalo to be minus 1.5. That is bonkers. I'm looking at SP Plus. They're also saying the Buffalo is going to be favored at home. So Northern Illinois is going to be a very trendy Wednesday night dog because they lead their division. But at the same time, Buffalo is absolutely atrocious at defending the rush, almost outside the top 100 in line yards and rushing success. But that's what Northern Illinois does. They're 63% run the ball, top 25 in rushing success rate, and 13th in line yards. So am I taking Northern Illinois as a dog here with this terrible defensive numbers that I'm staring at? I think that I am. And Kyle Van Treese has been terrible with ball protection lately. So it looks like I'm going to be back in the Huskies here. Project the total.
I'll probably be on Buffalo. This fourth down, they're top 10 in the country in fourth down defense, and they have one of the worst defenses in the country, and fourth down offense. They are now 17 of 21 on the year. That's outrageous on fourth downs. You know what their opponents are? 7 of 21. I mean, so you're playing a dangerous game with the fourth down regression. If you're back in Northern Illinois.
I know. And then there's something else in the advanced numbers. Boy, you won't hear this on any other podcast. This is the biggest discrepancy in middle eight right here. Buffalo, their new coach, top 20 in middle eight. Northern Illinois with Thomas Hammock, bottom 20 in middle eight. So what does that tell me? If I don't like Northern Illinois early with this short number, I probably could get a great live number about 4 minutes into the third quarter.
Yeah, Northern Illinois does like scored in the middle eight. They score at the end on fourth downs. Yeah. All right, before we get out of here, let's go third down. Next week, by the way, San Diego State, under again. You didn't bet the over, right?
I did not bet the over, no.
Nice. Or next Saturday, we'll be breaking this card down all week and sharing what we got come up with later in the week on our Thursday night episode. Oklahoma, Iowa State, man, that game now just does not look as good as it was going to be if Iowa State and Oklahoma both won last week. Oregon, Utah should be a dandy. Oregon playing, these two teams we're basically going to see again in the Pac-12 championship, but Oregon is obviously playing for their college football playoff lives. If they lose this game, they're done. That's probably the game of the weekend. We have Wake Forest at Clemson. Might be back in my guy Sam Hartman again. Michigan State at Ohio State. Here's a prediction of the Michigan State people that were saying, "Oh, we're going to upset Ohio State," and I think you're going to be 20-point underdogs here. Georgia, finally, I don't have to fade them this week. They're playing Charleston Southern, so we can see. We can try to break down some Charleston Southern later on. Arkansas at Alabama, baby. Woo, Pig Suey. Might be going back to your boys. Can we trust KJ Jefferson there? Looking forward to that. Michigan, as we mentioned, travels to Maryland. Oh, God. So those are some of the highlights of next weekend. Anything jumping out to you? Why you got anything circled? At least one game. What do you got?
Yeah, a few games. Openers haven't come out yet, but Missouri gets the win over South Carolina. Now they're going to be about 8 to 9 point underdogs at home against Florida, who I think is
quit.
Holy shit. So yeah, Missouri, you could plan on them probably being a play. Arkansas is going to be
round robin.
Arkansas is going to be about 18-point underdogs against Alabama. I don't think that we have the blitz package with Barry Odom. He likes to sit back and prevent big plays. That's not going to work against Alabama. You have to pressure the quarterback. So I think it's a bad matchup for Arkansas. Illinois, Brett Bielema's old stomping ground of Iowa, where he played. They're going to go in to be about a 16-point underdog against Iowa. We'll see how Kirk Ferentz treats that. It's a big spread for Iowa, but I think they got some motivation here. Utah, like we said, is going to be a short favorite at home. Any team that can run on Oregon can establish, and keep the ground game going is a team that can beat them. I'll have to deep dive into that one. It's a slobber knocker. TCU, or is their season done now that they got the win? They got the big upset victory.
What did they give up to Oklahoma State? 70?
Yeah,
a
ton. And now they're going to be favored by 20 over Kansas. And do you fade Kansas off of that overtime win against Texas? So TCU is possibly going to be a look. And then Cincinnati, only 8. We're going to be favored by 8 over SMU, a game that they absolutely have to maintain their standing in the college football playoff is definitely worth a look. And then we may be right back on UTEP because Rice is crumbling. UTEP has lost a couple, didn't look good against North Texas. They should be around 7-point favorites against Rice. I think we'll be jumping right back on that train. And then tell me what the final total.
Wait, we didn't hear from our Minor Nation guy again. Where you at, buddy?
He disappears.
A couple weeks in a row. You're no pizza party, and all you need to do is we could solve poverty and world hunger if you just bet on UTEP. We could solve all of the homelessness in the U.S. We could give pizza parties to everybody. What's going on, buddy? Give us a call. West Texas silence.
And then finally, Florida Atlantic and Western Kentucky, 2 of the absolute fastest paces in the nation. Western Kentucky team total bet has got to be in there. They don't put team total numbers up till like Tuesday. But I mean, considering the pace these two play and at the rate Western Kentucky is scoring points right now, holy shit. I mean, this is a 50 burger coming.
By the way, our Western Kentucky conference futures of life.
Yeah.
We have life. Zappy hour. All right, it's time for us to go get to work on next week's card. Make sure you check out all of our weekday and content for next weekend at actionnetwork.com and the Action Network app. Appreciate all of you listening. Make sure you subscribe, leave a review, tell a friend, tell an enemy. We appreciate you guys listening. Let's have a huge close to the year. We will catch y'all later in the week. Cheers.
Peace out.